तस्या ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा माह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे बृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा माता जी।
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Okay, so today we'll be starting with chapter 11, that is the universal form. So before starting, let me offer my prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining. So today we'll be starting with the chapter 11. So chapter 11 is entitled as the universal form. So before going to chapter 11, like every week, we'll do a quick recap of what we learned in chapter 10. So chapter 10 had 4 sections. The first section, we came to know that Krishna is the source of all. In that section, we learned how we will know about Krishna and how he is the source of everything. And we learned about what is inconceivable and which is not inconceivable. So in the second section, we learned that pure bhakti is the essence of the Gita. So here we learned about the 4 important slokas which actually give the essence of Bhagavad Gita, right? So from these 4 slokas, we actually derived a 3-step process. What is a 3-step process which is given based on these 4 slokas? It is Sambandha. Sambandha means what is our relationship with the Supreme Lord, that is Lord Sri Krishna. And then what is Abhideya? What is the process to achieve Krishna? And then Prayojana. So what is our goal? What is the goal of our life? So the goal of our life to be to please, to love, to have love and devotion towards Krishna. And in the third section, we actually learned about how Arjuna accepts Krishna as a supreme person. Like in the first time in Bhagavad Gita, after these many chapters, Arjuna actually accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he even gave references. Like he said, like Asita, Devala, Vyasa, they also confirmed that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in the fourth section, Krishna's opulences, like Arjuna requested about the opulences, and Krishna was actually talking about his vibhutis here, his Aishwarya, his opulences. Like he talked about 80 plus opulences, and we saw some important opulences wherein Krishna said like he is the taste of the water, and among the beasts he is lion, and among the mountains he is Meru. So like that we have seen so many vibhutis there. So in the end of that particular chapter, Arjuna raises this question after listening to all the vibhutis. He said, Krishna, you're saying that you are all pervading, you're there everywhere, you're entering into everywhere, you're actually maintaining everything, you're creating everything, you're destroying everything. I wish to actually see that form of yours where you're all pervading. So there Arjuna actually asks this question wherein he requests to show the universal form. That's why this chapter is being spoken. So here in this particular chapter, we have like 4 sections, okay, in chapter 11. So chapter 11, the first section from the verse 1 to 4 is the request. Arjuna is making a request for the universal form. And in the second section, Krishna is actually describing about his universal form. And in the third section, Krishna actually shows his universal form and he gives instruction. And then on seeing the universal form, Arjuna becomes very fearful and he offers prayers onto Krishna. And he says, enough of this universal form, please show me your two-handed form. And then in the fourth section, Krishna shows this beautiful two-armed form. Okay, so now let's move on to the first section where Arjuna is making this request to show the universal form. So in this section, we will deal with Arjuna's state of mind, then the request for universal form and how the Lord is independent. So we all know when this Bhagavad Gita is spoken, right? So what is the state of mind of Arjuna when this Bhagavad Gita started? How in the first chapter, what is the state of the mind? Can anyone say what is the state of mind of Arjuna when this all started? You can raise your hand or type. Yes, Akshay.
Mataji, he was so confused. We should go to war or not. From that only, Krishna started to tell about Bhagavad Gita.
Very good. So Sanvi is writing, he is very sorrowful. Yeah, that is true. And Harshit, you want to add anything? I can't hear you, Harshit. Or else you can type in the chat. Your voice is not audible. Just check your speakers once. Yeah. So Arjuna state of mind is like he's very confused. He's in so much of anxiety and he said that he won't fight. So now let's see what is the Arjuna state of mind now. And he requests for the universal form. Also, we will know that how the Lord is independent. So let's move on. So now we have the first verse of this particular chapter here, if anyone wants to read.
Mataji, I can't see Mataji.
Okay, let me give it to Sanvi. Sanvi?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, go ahead.
Arjuna uvacha madanugrahaya paramam guhyamadhyatma sangitam yatva yoktam vachastena mohoyam vigato mama. Translation: Arjuna said, by hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled.
Very good. So what is Arjuna saying here? Arjuna is saying after hearing so far whatever he heard from Krishna, he's saying that now my moha, my illusion, after listening to all this confidential knowledge which you gave me, my illusion is now dispelled. So here Arjuna says that his illusion has been dispelled. So we have seen when the Bhagavad Gita started and what is the state of mind of Arjuna. He's saying that all that moha is over now. Everything is dispelled. I am convinced that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I actually realized your glories. and he's saying, I actually desire to see your universal form, wherein you enter and support the entire universe. And he is even saying, if you think I can behold means if you think that I can see that form, please show that universal form wherein you enter and support the entire universe. That is what Arjuna is requesting. That is Arjuna's request here. So here there is a life lesson. Try.
Yes, Mata. Miss Mataji, I can't see the screen.
Yeah, I think there is a lag.
Yes, Miss, I can see.
Yeah, go.
By 10th chapter, Arjuna already surrounded all. We still waiting for more.
Right, very good. So what is this life lesson about? In the 10th chapter, we learned that Arjuna already surrendered. He said that I am convinced that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Are we convinced or are we still waiting for? Oh yes, if we are still waiting for, then this chapter is for us. Because for us, Arjuna is asking Krishna to show his universal form. So who want to read this verse here? Anyone? Yeah, can you see it, Akshaya? Can you see, Akshaya, the screen?
Mataji, can you hear me, Mataji?
I can hear you, Nana. I think there is a lag. When you see the screen, let me know this time, okay? I'll give it to Brunda this time. Yeah, Brunda.
Yes, Mataji. Evam etad yathatha tvam atamanam parameshwara dhritashtam ichchami te rupam aishwaram purusottamam. Translation. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours.
Very good. Thank you. So here, how beautifully Arjuna is speaking here. So what is Arjuna saying? Oh, greatest of all the personalities. He is convinced that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he's saying, I can see your spiritual form right in front of me. See, Arjuna is already seeing the two-armed form of Krishna, spiritual form there. But he says, I wish to see how you entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. So Arjuna is requesting for the universal form, which is also called as Vishwarupa. So Arjuna, in which state he is asking this to Krishna? He is very humble. Arjuna displays humility. So we all know in the first chapter, we know that Arjuna and Krishna are dear friends. They are the closest of the close friends. And then when we came to the second chapter, we realized that the relationship changed from a friend to a guru sishya. So Arjuna accepted Krishna as a guru. And here you can see that how Arjuna is very humble and how he is actually requesting Krishna to actually show his universal form, wherein he enters the entire cosmic manifestation and how he is maintaining this cosmic manifestation. So here we do not see any pride in Arjuna. He is not at all proud. He is accepting the supremeness of Krishna, although they are very close friends. Because he is listening, he has been listening to Krishna so far. He understood the supremacy of Krishna and he is convinced, he is accepting, and he is actually displaying humility here. So here we have another life lesson if anyone wants to read.
Mataji, now can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Humility can melt and win others' hearts. Pride would keep challenging others.
Very good. So this is a very important life lesson which we all have to work on. So if we are very humble, automatically even the enemies will melt seeing us. If someone don't like us also, if we are humble, if we actually stand as an example, automatically it will melt their hearts. But if we are proud of ourselves, and that keeps actually challenging others, and because of that we might even lose people, we might even lose relationships. So this is a very good life lesson to actually implement. And we have another life lesson here if anyone wants to read. Who did not read? Yamini, can you see the screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
One cannot order the Supreme Lord, but the
By surrender.
surrender and devotion, one can invoke His mercy, and this way the Supreme gives Himself.
Very good. So this is another very important life lesson to actually understand. So we know how the Lord is independent. Can we order the Supreme Lord? No, we cannot order the Supreme Lord. See, even in the real life, if you see, can we order our parents or our superiors or our teachers? No, right? But then if we surrender to them completely, if we have love and devotion towards them, automatically that will invoke their mercy. Okay, so here if we surrender completely onto the Supreme Lord, one can invoke His mercy. And this way He says that the Supreme will give Himself. So if we take the real life example, for example, our parents or our superiors, if we are so faithful and if we are doing extraordinary work in whatever we are doing, they will automatically show a lot of mercy on us, right? Then if we ask them for something, automatically they will agree to us because they know how humble we are. They know how what type of mentality we have. So we have to understand that we have to be completely surrendered and we have to have love and devotion towards the Supreme Lord. So this Vishwarupa, Vishwarupa or the universal form which Arjuna was requesting for, this is actually temporary form. So people might ask question here. Like Arjuna in the 10th chapter, he's already convinced that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what is the reason that he's asking for showing the universal form? That we have to understand here. So here Krishna is, Arjuna is asking to show the universal form to Krishna, not for his sake. He is asking for the sake of others, to convince those people who may not agree. See, this happened 5,000 years back. And now today in this current world, if you see, the next day morning, if you actually open the newspaper or if you see something in the corner of the street or something, they will say there is a new Bhagavan there. Like Balgant Prabhuji in most of the classes, he says like people, they just come like saying Amma Bhagavan, Atta Bhagavan and all, right? So people, for this defaulters who actually come and claim that I am God, Arjuna requested Krishna to show the universal form, to set a benchmark, because tomorrow someone might come saying that he is God. They might claim saying that I am God. So to set a benchmark for the imposters, and devotees are not eager. Even Arjuna is not eager to see the universal form, but he asked for the sake of others. So here there is a life lesson. So this life lesson, who wants to read? Or if anyone haven't read so far. Yeah, let me call Arya.
Universal form is the limitless test for those who claim to be God, red or blue.
Very good. So all of you know this litmus test, right? So what is litmus test? Litmus test is something which we do to actually check if it is acidic or basic, right? So this litmus test we have to perform if someone comes and claims saying the God. Okay, Krishna is the supreme God. He shows the universal form. Okay, you're claiming to be God, right? Then show your universal form. That is a litmus test we have to do. We should not agree to people who just come and say that they are God. We have to do our checks before accepting them as a God. Okay. And there is one other life lesson. Charan,
God will He can remain
insignificant
eternally. Let's not try to become God. Let's become godly.
Very good. So this is another very important life lesson. So God will remain supreme eternally. So the two-handed form of the Lord, He's always there in the spiritual world. That is eternal form of the Lord. We can remain insignificant. We are like mini speck in front of the Lord. But then we are also eternal because the soul is eternal. Let's not try to become God. Instead, we have to try to become godly. Trying to become godly is we have to acquire those qualities like forgiveness. Then we have so many other characters wherein humbleness. So all this we have to inculcate in our day-to-day life so that we can become godly. Okay. No, I can't hear you, Akshay.
Now, Mataji.
Now I can hear you. Yes. Go ahead.
Ihaika sistam jagat krishnam pasyadhyasa karakaram characharam mama dehe gudakesa
Chanyat drashtam.
Yanyat drishtam ichasi. Translation: O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. The universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see, and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything moving and non-moving is here completely in one place.
Very good. So this is the second section, and in this section Krishna is describing about his universal form. So Krishna is saying, I'll show you my universal form, and in this form you can see whatever you want to see now and whatever you want to see in the future also. See, Krishna is reading Arjuna's mind, and he is actually showing whatever he wants to see in the future also. Everything in this universe, whatever is moving, non-moving, everything he's showing in one place. That is the universal form. Okay, so Krishna is describing about his universal form. So Krishna describes about his universal form. He's saying like, there's so many opulences, so many colors and shapes, all wonderful things which are available in this universe. Everything is being shown in one place, in one form. And he's saying like, you can see the entire universe in my body. And he's saying, I will give you divine eyes. So already Arjuna is having superior eyes, because Arjuna is able to understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So he's already having that superior eyes. He's able to see that beautiful two-handed form of spiritual form of Krishna already. But then Krishna is giving the special vision to Arjuna to actually behold this universal form. He's saying that I will give you, earlier he had a superior vision of affection, but now I'll give you a celestial vision to actually see this magnificent, majestic form. That is a universal form. Okay. The universe is created and destroyed. Similarly, the universal form. So the universal form is temporary. It is a material form, and the universal form is visible and invisible. So we all know, right? The universe gets created and it gets destroyed. Like when Mahavishnu actually exhales, all the universes come out. And when he inhales, all the universes go inside. So universe is created and destroyed. When Brahma's night, then entire universe will be devastated, right? Like that, this universal form also is visible and invisible. So because it is a material form of the Lord, it is temporary. Yeah, Vishnupriya or yes, Vishnupriya.
Give up the tendency of competing with Krishna and trying to become controller, proprietor. Follow in footsteps of Arjuna, and we will see the mercy flow automatically.
Very good. This is another very important life lesson. So we have to give up. There are so many people outside who actually claim to be God, I am God, I am God and all, right? So we have to give up that tendency. We have to follow the footsteps of Arjuna. How humble Arjuna is. He doesn't have any envious nature. He's so humble. So we have to follow in the footsteps of Arjuna. Then Krishna's mercy will flow on us automatically. So we have to understand this life lesson. Okay. Yeah. Vishnupriya, can you read this verse?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Tata sa vishmaya vishto hrishtaro madananjaya pranamya sirasa devam kritanjali rabhastata. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances, and with folded hands began to pray
The Supreme Lord. Very good. So here we can understand what is Arjuna saying is, he is very much astonished. His hair was standing on one end and he bowed his head to offer obeisances with folded hands. and he began to pray to the Supreme Lord. He is saying, Krishna, you are the reservoir of all the relationships. See, in this material world, if we see whatever relationship, whether it is our own family, whether it is our own siblings, at any one point of time in life, we will meet with disappointments. But the relationship with Krishna, there won't be any disappointment, because in this material world, all the relations are imperfect because our senses are imperfect. Each one of us are imperfect in one way or the other. But Krishna is perfect. Since we are dealing with imperfect people in this material world, we actually see problems. But if we deal with Krishna, though we are imperfect, Krishna is perfect. He is perfect in everything. So when we are dealing with perfect people, we won't see any disappointments. So Krishna is the reservoir of all relationships. We can be a friend to Krishna. We can be a parent to Krishna. We can develop any sort of relationship with Krishna. Okay. So when Krishna is showing the universal form, Arjuna is actually seeing that form. So who has to describe that? Sanjaya describes the universal form. So we already know that Sanjaya already has this divine vision, wherein sitting inside the Hastinapur hall, he is able to see whatever is happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Sanjaya is describing about universal form. He's saying that, oh my God, this form is very gigantic. There are unlimited faces, hands, weapons, and effulgence. The effulgence which is coming from that form is like thousands of suns. That is what Sanjaya is describing. Then Krishna describes about his Vishwarupa. So what is Krishna saying? Krishna is saying that everything in the universe has bodily parts. So if you see this picture here, right? So this is actually drawn by the devotees of ISKCON. So based on what is given in the scriptures, they have drawn this picture. So you can see that there's so much of effulgence and everything you can see, whatever is there in the entire universe, everything you can see at one place. And you can see the picture here, right? They're in the battlefield, and in this chariot itself, on sitting in the chariot itself, Arjuna is able to see this universal form. They did not have to go to any other place to actually see this form. In the place where they are talking, sitting on the chariot itself, Arjuna was able to see this universal form, and he was actually bowing down to Krishna. So here there is another life lesson. Who wants to read it? Krishna Priya.
In material world, all relationships disappoint. In spiritual world, all relationships are perfect. Why? Because we deal with imperfect people here and perfect people there.
Very good. So this is what we discussed, right? So in material world, whichever relationship you see, everywhere there is disappointment at any one point of time in our life. But in spiritual world, everything, all the relationships are perfect. Why? Because we deal with imperfect people in this material world and we deal with perfect people in the spiritual world. Okay. So now we are going to the next section, the prayers of Arjuna. So in this section, we will actually deal with Arjuna's experience on seeing the universal form. How is Arjuna feeling? And then Krishna reveals what is his purpose. Because Arjuna asked that question, who are you and what is your mission? Arjuna asked the questions here. So Krishna reveals his purpose, and then Arjuna was so fearful on seeing this universal form, and he offers his prayers. Okay. So now we have only translations. You can quickly read it. Atidi? Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, go ahead.
Arjuna said, "My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and all the sages and divine serpents."
Very good. So in this particular verse, what is Arjuna saying? Arjuna is saying, oh my Lord Krishna, I can see demigods. I can see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower. I can see all the sages. I can see all the demigods. I can see all the divine serpents. So he's saying that he is able to see all these forms in the universal form, which Krishna is showing to him. And then there is one other verse here. This is only the translation. Someone can read it.
Arjuna said, my dear Lord,
Not that
O
one.
Lord of the universe, O universal form, I see in your body many, many arms, bellies, mouths, and eyes, expanded everywhere, without limit. I see in you no need, no end, no middle, and no beginning.
Very good. So here in this particular verse, Arjuna is conveying that Krishna is a limitless person. See, when we take, for us, let's take the example of anyone here, like Akshaya. So if you see Akshaya, how you will know? Like Akshaya has a head, something is starting here, and if you go to the toe, that is the end, and there is a middle portion. But here in this particular picture, if you see this universal form, Arjuna is seeing these forms like millions of heads, so many bellies, so many mouths, everything is expanded without any limit. He's just seeing all the way, everywhere he's seeing like heads, bellies, so many hands, weapons, everything. He's not knowing where is the start, where is the end, where is the middle. Nothing is known. Like that, this universal form is expanded throughout wherever Arjuna is sitting. That can be visible clearly in this picture. So we have one more verse with just the translation. Those who haven't read, yeah, Siri.
Yes, Mataji. You are the supreme primal objective. You are the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are inexhaustible and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of the eternal religion, the personality of Godhead. This is my opinion.
Very good. So in this verse, what is Arjuna saying? Arjuna is convinced of supremacy. In the 10th chapter already, Arjuna was convinced that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Now, after seeing this universal form, magnificent and astonishing, it was astonishing. And he's saying, I am convinced of your supremacy. He's saying, you are inexhaustible. You are the oldest. You are the maintainer. You are the personality of the Godhead. And then there is one other verse. In this verse, what he's saying, let's see. Who will read this out? Sri Sagana?
Yes, Mataji, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Should I read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Prayers of Arjuna. Translation. You are without origin, middle, or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms, and the sun and moon are your eyes. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance. You are spread everywhere, fire from your mouths, devatas and sages offering prayers. Hare
Very
Krishna.
good. Thank you, Nana. So in this picture, you can see, right, this blazing fire coming from your mouth, and each of your eye appears like the sun and the moon. Your eyes appears like thousands of sun. When there are thousands of sun, how much of effulgence will be there? That much of effulgence is coming out. See, one sun, and if we have to go in the afternoon or sometime when it is very shiny or something, can we actually look at the sun? No, right? One sun itself, we cannot even gaze at the sun for maybe 1 minute or so. But then here you can see like the blazing fire. There is blazing fire, and the sun and the moon are his eyes. There's so much of effulgence coming. And he's saying that you are spread everywhere. Fire is coming from your mouth. And he can see that the devatas and all the sages are actually offering prayers. How many devatas we have? 33 crores devatas, right? All of them he is able to see in that universal form. And he's saying that he can see that devatas and sages, they are offering prayers, and there is no middle, there is no end, there is no beginning. I'm not knowing where there is a beginning or the end for this. Okay. So in this particular section, we saw all this, like the universal form is limitless, and there is a lot of effulgence, and there is unlimited opulences, and it has spread across the planetary system. And on seeing this, Arjuna was so fearful. So if anyone wants to read this. Yeah, Vishnupriya, Krishnapriya, anyone. Yeah.
Anything amazing, appreciate it. Not only because it's amazing, but more importantly, even that is included in Lord's universal form.
Yeah, so already we had one life lesson. If there is something very much amazing in us, we came to know that because we shared a tiny mini speck from Krishna. We got that quality from Krishna. So now the life lesson is, if we see something amazing in this universe, we have to appreciate it. Not only because it is amazing, but then because it is part of the universal form. Because universal form has everything whichever is there in this cosmic manifestation. Okay. In 24, the verse 24, Arjuna is saying, I am very fearful. And after that, in this 25, he is saying that please show some mercy on me. So let's read this. Brinda, can you read this?
Yes, Mataji. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions I am bewildered.
Very good. So here he already said in 24th verse that he's already fearful, and here even he's mentioning, saying that please show some mercy on me. I cannot keep balancing, seeing thus your blazing death-like faces. See, you can see like the faces here, right, in this picture here, and teeth, awful teeth in all directions, whichever direction. See, this universal form is spread across whichever direction he see, he is getting bewildered. He is asking to please be merciful on me. So in the beginning of the chapter, what we have observed, Arjuna said, Krishna, show me your universal form. I want to see how this cosmic manifestation you are actually holding it. But now after seeing the universal form, he is very fearful and he's saying, Krishna, please be merciful on me. Please stop. Please close this form and please be merciful on me. That is what Krishna is, Arjuna is saying here. So now let's move on to, so here we'll talk about this particular pastime, which is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So there is a pastime of Markandeyamuni. Okay, so he's a very great rishi. So he used to stay in his hermitage and perform so many rituals and all. He is a great rishi actually. So he actually worships Naranarayan. So Naranarayan is another incarnation of the Lord Krishna. Okay, he used to worship Naranarayan. So once he actually met Naranarayan and he asked he asked him a question like how you actually, how this entire cosmic manifestation is functioning. He asked that question. I am actually curious to see how you are actually functioning all this cosmic manifestation, how you are actually doing that. Then Naranarayan, he said, okay, fine, I'll show you that. And he left that place. And this Markandeya Rishi, right, in his hermitage, he's performing his rituals. So one day when he's performing the rituals, right, what happened? There's a big storm, so much of wind. And within no time, the entire place got flooded. And he actually came out of the hermitage, nothing is seen, only water. The entire universe got flooded. So we actually came to know, right, like when Brahma's night comes, the entire universe will be devastated. So this is how it will be devastated. The entire universe will be occupied with water, flooded with water. And he is actually swimming. He's not able to see anyone. Not even a single person he is able to see. Entire universe is flooded. He's swimming. He's not seeing anything. Like that for many years he swam across. And finally he came to a particular place where there is a big banyan tree. And on the branch of the banyan tree, there is a little boy who is actually sleeping on the banyan leaf. So you can see in this picture, right? That is Vatapatra Sai. So little Krishna who is actually sleeping on this branch of this banyan tree, and he is actually sucking his feet. Okay. And on seeing this, he came closer to this little Krishna. And as Krishna, he actually inhaled, right? What happened? This Markandeyamuni, he actually went into Krishna's, from Krishna's nose, he went into his belly. And in the belly, he was able to see the entire universe. Again, when Krishna exhales, he came out. Like that several times he went in, he came out, he saw the universe inside and he came out. And after several times like that, he ended up in his hermitage again. Then he thought, oh my God, this universe is like this. Okay, this devastation, creation happens like this, he thought. And he just left. So here what we can understand is devotees sometimes are very curious to see how Lord functions, how this cosmic manifestation, everything functions. So here we can see Arjuna asked for the universal form And Markandeyamuni, he wanted to see how this cosmic manifestation is run. So the devotees sometimes they become very curious of to see this Lord form. So although Arjuna was very curious to see the Lord's form, now he became very fearful. So here we can see a picture of the Vishwarupa, right? And here you can see, everyone knows, right? Narasimhadev. So can anyone tell what is the difference between the Vishwarupa and the Narahari Rupa here? Anyone? Any guesses? Yes, Akshaya.
Mataji, in Vishwarupa we can see everything which is in universe, but in another Narasimhadev photo we can see only Narasimhadev.
Okay, yeah, that's not the one. Let's check with Vishnupriya or Krishnapriya. Yeah.
Mataji, Narasimha came only to kill Hiranya and protect Prahlad, and this Vishwarupa is for this material world and speech.
Yeah, right. So Vishwarupa, this is material form and it is temporary. Whereas the Narasimhadev Rupa, the Narahari Rupa, it is permanent. It is a spiritual form. In the spiritual world, we will have Narasimha Rupa. But we won't have universal form in the spiritual world because universal form is temporary. We all know that this material world is temporary, right? Krishna told us, Dukkhalayam Asasvatam. So this universal form also, it is the form which has the entire cosmic manifestation. So it is temporary. Okay. And here after seeing this Vishwarupa, Arjuna is fearful. But after seeing this Narahari Rupa, Prahlad Maharaj is not fearful. Instead, he offered his obeisances and prayers. And even in fact, if we know, when we actually are fearful, we actually offer Narasimhadev prayers, right? Like Narasimharati, we all recite Narasimharati, right? Why we recite Narasimharati? So that we can overcome our fears. Okay? Yeah, so that is the difference here. And next, Arjuna actually sees the future outcomes of the war. In the universal form, he can see the future outcomes of the war also. So Krishna already told, right? Whatever you want to see now, whatever you want to see in the future also, you can see in this universal form. Krishna already told. So we read that verse. So here, Arjuna sees the future outcomes. He's seeing like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, all these are entering into the mouth. See, here there is an analogy which is given. Like all of you know moths, right? So moths are like the insects. They're not exactly butterflies. They are insects. So these moths, what they happen is when there is light, they get attracted towards the light. If there is fire or something, they get attracted towards a fire and they go and bash into that fire. So what happens when they bash into that fire? They will die, right? So that is one analogy. And one more analogy here it is given is like all the seas. So you can see all the rivers, right? The small rivers, whatever are there, they have to merge into the ocean. That is natural thing. So these are the two analogies which is given. One is the moth, which is killed when it is attracted towards a fire, and all the rivers entering into the ocean. Is there any difference between these two? Can any of you guess what is the difference between the two analogies given here? Anyone? I see so many hands up. Yes, Akshaya.
Mataji, means when moth goes, it will die, but when a river comes into the ocean, it is like good. But in that, it is like a negative thing.
Right, very good. Very good. Yeah. So that one, yeah, I'll go for Brinda's answer also. Yes, Brinda.
When the moth enters into the fire, it changes its form. But when river enters into the ocean, it doesn't change its form.
Very good. That is also very good analogy. Yeah. So what Akshaya said also is right. What Brinda said also is right. So the moth which is killed when it actually get attracted into the fire is the negative thing. And this is positive. See, all rivers ultimately they have to merge into the ocean only, right? So this is positive. So when we heard like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, etc. are entering into his mouth, so Bhishma, even if he is being killed, so he will attain the spiritual world. Example here is Bhishma. For rivers entering ocean is Bhishma. And for Duryodhana and all, this is like a moth. Okay. So that is why these two analogies are given here. Now, Arjuna asks two questions. What are the two questions Arjuna asks? Arjuna asks, who are you? He asks to Krishna, who are you and what is your mission? So Krishna answers to this question. Let's see what Krishna says for this. So in this 3 verses, Krishna is saying, time I am the ultimate destroyer. So Kala. So what is Kala? Kala is time. Krishna is saying he is time. And also the next verse, in that particular verse, Krishna is also giving prediction. What is the prediction Krishna is giving? Krishna is saying that Bhishma, Drona, Karna, all these will be killed. So he's giving that prediction. In this war, everyone will die except the Pandavas and some other people who actually supported the Pandavas. Other than all, everyone will be killed. That is what the prediction Krishna is saying here. So Krishna made this decision when Draupadi was disrobed itself. You all know, right, how Draupadi was disrobed in the gamble match. So Krishna made this decision then only. Krishna wanted to give the world that whenever a chaste lady, someone actually does something bad or disrespects a woman who is a chaste lady, then they will have to ultimately suffer. That is what Krishna wanted to tell the world. And then in the verse 33, Krishna is saying, be an instrument. He is saying, just be an instrument. He is killing everyone. Everything is written. You just be my instrument. That is what he's saying. Let's see in detail. So here you can see, right, a lion and a cub. So we saw like Arjuna on seeing the universal form, he became very fearful. But then he is a very close friend, dear friend to Sri Krishna. So here if you see a lion and a cub, right? So this lion is actually holding its baby. You can see the teeth here, right? How sharp they are. But will the baby actually feel anything? Will the baby be fearful? No, right? It's his mother. So it doesn't be feeling anything fearful. But if we have to go towards that lion, we'll be automatically fearful, right? So same thing. One more example we say. So elephant. So all of you know the Gajendra Moksha, right? So in Gajendra Moksha, the Gajendra was in water. But what is Gajendra's place? Gajendra place is, if it is there on the land, it will be very strong. But if it is there in the water, it will automatically drown, right? So if you see a fish, right? So fish is natural. It lives in water. How tiny it is when compared to the elephant there. But elephant is drowning in water because it is not its natural position. But for the fish, being in the sea water is its natural position. So devotees will be never fearful. For example, if we take Prahlad Maharaj, right? Did Prahlad Maharaj be fearful when he saw Narsimhadev Roop? No, right? He was just offering his prayers. He was reciting his prayers to calm down, right? But he was not fearful of Narsimhadev. But Kamsa, if we take Kamsa, right? Kamsa is fearful. Even before Krishna is born, when there is Akashvani, which came and told that the 8th son of Devaki and Vasudeva is going to kill you, from that day on, he was fearful of Krishna. So devotees will never be fearful of Krishna. And Krishna here is saying, you just be an instrument. You just be a Nimitra Matra. Okay? Nimitta Matram. Means we are not the doers. If Krishna sanctions only, then anything can be done. So he's saying, you don't feel bad that you're going to kill them. I am already killing them. You just be my instrument, because Krishna wanted to give his devotees the credit. He's saying that you just be my instrument. So all of you know this Damodar Leela, right? So for example, let's take one more example. So here I have a phone, right? So this is my instrument. But if I operate only, then if I go to WhatsApp or if I go to Facebook or if I go to Gmail and if I type something only, then this is useful, right? By just this instrument, can this instrument do anything by itself? No, right? So this is just an instrument in my hand. So same way, Krishna is saying, you be an instrument in my play to Arjuna. Okay, in this Damodar Leela, if you see, right, all of you know this Damodar Leela, right? So I'm not giving more in detail in this. So here in olden days, we don't have this mixies and all, right? So they used to use this grinding motor to actually pound all grains and all. So when Yashoda Mata actually tied Krishna to this grinding motor, she just used one rope, and then this, if you see this grinding motor, it is not even that heavy. But then with this grinding motor, you can see the two trees here, right? Arjuna Yamala trees. And these trees are so huge. And with just this grinding motor, Krishna uprooted them. Both the trees, he uprooted them. So here we should understand that this grinding motor is just an instrument, because Krishna facilitated. Krishna gave that capability to that grinding motor to uproot the trees. So it is like an instrument. So same way, Krishna is saying Arjuna to be an instrument in his play. Okay. And one more example we'll see. So here you can see that, right, the fall leaves, how they are falling. So if there is lot of wind, leaves will fall automatically. But even if there is no wind, leaves will fall, right? See, if the leaves dry off or they get old, automatically the leaves will fall down, right? There not need to be wind for that. So same way, what Krishna is saying, right? Even if you don't kill, are they going to live eternally? No, right? Today or tomorrow they have to die. They will get aged. They might get diseased. We know this Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, right? Ultimately, they have to die. Then why do you feel for that? Don't even feel for that, and be my instrument and just perform your duty. Okay? And that same thing Krishna is saying here. If anyone want to read this. Yes, Krishna.
Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna and the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore, kill them and do not be disturbed. Simplified, and you will vanish your enemies in battle.
Very good. So the same thing he's saying here in this particular verse. Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna and other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. He already saw in that universal form, he saw like Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, all of them are, so fire is coming from his mouth, right? And he has seen all these people going into the mouth. So Krishna is saying that I have already killed them. You just be an instrument in my place. Okay, so this is the life lesson. Yamini?
Yes, Mataji. We have our plans. Lord has his plans. If they watch me, success. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. One second. Okay. Oh, attendance link is not posted yet, right? Anand, can you post the attendance?
Yes, Mataji, I'll post.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is another very important life lesson. We have our plans. Lord has his plans. If they match, we succeed. So every one of us will have our own plans. And Lord already had a plan by when in which life we will go to him also, he knows that. But then if we actually follow the Lord's plans, so how can we follow the Lord's plans? How can they match? If we follow the preachings of Bhagavad Gita, if we follow the teachings given by Bhagavad Gita to us, so whatever life lessons we are learning in these classes, if we follow them, then they will match with what the plans Lord has with us and we will succeed. Okay, understood? One more life lesson. Sanvi? Who's that?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, go ahead.
We are all on reverse timer. Be alert and wise.
Very good. So, by the time we took birth, our timer is already started. So, we are on reverse timer. So, we already had a life lesson on this. So, we have to be alert and wise, and we have to use our time efficiently and intelligently. Okay? Yeah. Who want to read this? Anyone? Akshaya? Yes, Akshaya.
Yes, Mataji.
Can you see? Okay. let me give it to Krishna Priya. Krishna Priya?
Pitasi. 1 minute.
Okay.
पितासि लोकस्य चराचरस्य त्वमस्य पूज्यस्य गुरुर्गरीयान् न त्वत्समोऽस्त्यव्यधिकं कुतोऽन्या लोकत्रयेऽपि अप्रतिमः प्रभाव. You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one is greater than you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds, O Lord of immeasurable power?
Very good. So here Arjuna is offering his prayers. So what is Arjuna saying? Arjuna is saying, you are the supreme manifest. You are the supreme father. He is saying you are the father of this entire cosmic manifestation. Whatever moving, non-moving, you are the worshipable chief and you are the supreme spiritual master. He's saying that you are the supreme spiritual master. He's saying you nor can anyone be with you. Like that, there is no other person in this world. So you are the supreme father. So that is what Arjuna is saying here. Pitasi Lokasya means the supreme father. And he is offering his repeated obeisances. He's saying, he's offering his obeisances thousands of times. See, if we want to offer obeisances to someone, right, how we will offer obeisances to him? We will go near them and we will offer obeisances. We'll say Dandavat Pranam, right? But then seeing this universal form, there's so many faces, so many hands and all. And Arjuna is in such a state that he is offering repeated obeisances going to all sides. So he's seeing universal form in all the sides, right? Here, the entire place is the universal form he's seeing. So he is offering obeisances from all the sides. And he's saying, forgive my offenses. Why he's saying forgive my offenses? So we know that in the first chapter, when we started Bhagavad Gita, in the first chapter, what we came to know, that Krishna and Arjuna are dear friends. So how friends will be? So we'll be joking about others, we'll make fun of others. So Arjuna was like that to Krishna. He used to make fun with, because they're of the same age, right? So Arjuna was making fun of Krishna. Sometimes he would say, ha, Krishna, you'll say always like that. You'll make things, you'll say, you know, everything. Like that, he used to make fun of Krishna. On remembering all that and on knowing about Krishna, now he is asking to forgive my offenses. Okay. See, you can see a picture of kids actually drawing, painting his father's face while sleeping, right? But Krishna is so merciful. Even here, we can take the example of father here. So after getting up, will the father actually fight on the kids saying that, hey, what is this, all this, why did you do and all? No, right? Because they're kids, he'll think, okay, they'll make some fun time and he'll be happy for that, right? Because small kids are making fun, that's fine. So same way, Krishna will not take any offense when the devotees are like a dear friend or when they are having fun time with Krishna. So that we have to understand. That's why we showed this example here. And here, the friends are of two types. The first one here, if you see, the relationship between Krishna and Arjuna is Gaurava Sakya. Sakya means friend, right? So Gaurava Sakya means Arjuna knows that Krishna is his friend and he also knows that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So he used to have fun with Krishna and at the same time he knows that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. But if you see here, this is called as Vishramba Sakya. Vishramba Sakya means these are the Gopas. So in Vrindavan, right, Krishna always used to play with the Gopabalas. So this Gopas, right, they know Krishna as their dear friend. Okay. They only know Krishna as the dear friend. They don't know that Krishna is the supreme, Krishna is the controller, he is the proprietor. They don't care about that. They know that Krishna is their best friend. They even will not say sorry to Krishna. They used to be that close to Krishna. Okay, that is the two types of friends here we saw. And then Arjuna says, I am both gladdened and frightened. He says, oh Krishna, thank you so much for showing this universal form, but now I am actually fearful. Please close this universal form now and please show me your four-armed form and the two-handed beautiful form. Okay. So now the four-armed form is called as a Vishnu form. Here in this picture you can see, right? Behind you can see the Vishnu form. So what is the Vishnu form? You can see Shankha, Chakra, then Padma, Gada. Okay, this four you can see. This is a universal form. So Krishna actually shows his Vishnu form also. And then, so here we have to understand, to see any form of the Lord, what is important? We have to have the mercy of the Lord. See, now we are doing this Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Gita classes. All these without the mercy of the Lord we cannot do. So if we are doing something, we should not feel proud of ourselves that we are the doers. Without the mercy of the Lord, without the sanction of the Lord, we cannot do anything. Because Krishna is showing his mercy on us, we are able to actually talk sitting in this class here, and you are able to listen to this knowledge. Okay. So we have to be in that mood. That is the mood of Arjuna. So pure bhakti is the essence of, is the prerequisite to see any form of Krishna. So the rarity of seeing a universal form. So who all saw this universal form? You all know this, right? Mother Yashoda, she actually saw the universal form. When Krishna was eating the mud, Balram comes and complains to Yashoda Mai. Then Yashoda Mai asks Krishna, are you eating mud? He says, no, I am not eating mud. Then when Mother Yashoda Mai asks to open his mouth, he shows his universal form. And then Arjuna sees the universal form now. So that is pure bhakti is a prerequisite. And also, who else saw the universal form? Sanjaya saw the universal form. Then the great sages and all the devatas also saw the universal form. So the rarity of seeing, that is what is explained in the verse 47 to 49. So these are all big verses. That's why I'm just giving you the gist of what the verses are. And then now Krishna is saying Arjuna is saying to Krishna, this vision, let this vision be over. I am fearful. Please show me the four-handed. Krishna reveals his Vishnu form. That is a four-handed form. And then Krishna says about the rarity of seeing Krishna's human life. Because so many people, right, they think that Krishna is a normal human. They don't consider him as a supreme personality of Godhead. Because they say, Krishna is having two hands, we are also having two hands. Krishna is having two legs, we are also having two legs. What's the difference? No. That's what Krishna is saying. Krishna is saying the rarity of seeing Krishna is because it is not possible for everyone to understand that the two-handed beautiful form of Krishna is the form which is there in Goloka Vrindavan. Only pure bhakti is a prerequisite of seeing any form of Krishna, whether it is universal form, whether it is Vishnu form, or whether it is the human-like form. That is a two-handed beautiful form. And Krishna is known only and seen by Ananya Bhaktas. So we already discussed about Ananya Bhaktas, right? Like we talked about the 24 karat gold, right? So these Ananya Bhaktas, Krishna is known only to them. And we should perform, to attain Krishna, we have to perform bhakti. So this is a very important verse if anyone wants to read. Sanvi? Sanvi, are you there?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mat karma kranmat paramo mad bhakta sangavarjitaha nirvairas sarva bhuteshu yasamameti pandava. Translation. My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me.
Very good. Thank you. So this is the last verse of this particular chapter and it is very important. So Krishna is saying mat karma means one who works for me, and mat paramo, he's saying that one who actually makes him as a supreme personality of Godhead, who actually the goal of their life is to, the supreme goal of the life is who actually wants to attain Krishna. Then Madbhakta means one who engages in pure devotional service. Sangha Varjita. Sangha Varjita means free from this material attachments. And then Nirvaira Sarva Bhuteshu means he's saying that one who actually is friendly to each and every living entity. So Krishna is talking about 5 here. So one who does this, they will definitely come to him. That is what finally Krishna is concluding this particular chapter. And then we have a nice life lesson here if anyone wants to read. Yes, Akshay. Raina? You're not able to unmute? Why?
Now I
Okay.
can.
Okay.
Just like one realizes the company of a dear friend more than his exhibition of opulence, similarly Lord's personal dealings are way sweeter than his Aishwarya.
Very good. So this is another very important life lesson. So just like one religious. So when we have a dear friend, when we have the company of a dear friend, we'll definitely be happy, right? See, after COVID, after so many days, if we meet one of our close friends, we don't even sleep in the night. We keep talking together. We spend half of the night talking to them only, right? So this life lesson is just like one religious, the company of a dear friend. More than the exhibition. Exhibition means their opulences or whatever they have so much of wealth, what they wore and all. Okay. More than that, Lord's personal dealings are the way sweeter than his Aishwarya. That is how sweet the Lord is. See, if we actually take 10 steps towards Krishna, he will take 100 steps towards us. If we actually perform bhakti with love and devotion, he will actually try to be our servant also. He doesn't even mind to be our servant. We have seen, right? Like Krishna became the chariot driver for Arjuna. Why? Because Arjuna is having so much of love and devotion to a Krishna, and he never was envious on Krishna. So he didn't even mind to become the chariot driver for Arjuna. That's how Krishna is merciful. That's how he loves his devotees. Okay. So we'll do a quick summary of what we learned. So in the first section, we actually dealt with request. So what is the request Arjuna is making? Arjuna is asking for the universal form. So here we saw what is the Arjuna's state of mind, and then how the Lord is independent. We cannot order the Lord for anything. But then because Krishna was his dear friend and devotee, he actually accepted Arjuna's request and he showed the universal form for the sake of others, to actually set a benchmark for imposters. And then in the second section, the universal form, we saw how this form is temporary. And then we saw that this universal form is the entire cosmic manifestation as shown in one place. Okay. And any form of Krishna, we can see only by the mercy of the Lord. And we saw how Arjuna is in a unique position. How Arjuna was able to see in that same place where he was, and he already had a superior vision wherein he was able to see the two-handed spiritual form of Krishna. And then we also saw that Krishna is a reservoir of all relationships. And then in the third section, that is the prayers of Arjuna, here we saw how Arjuna was describing about the universal form and how he was very fearful on seeing that form, and how he was actually offering his prayers. And we even saw what Krishna was giving, the instructions which Krishna gave, like his time, and he gave the prediction, and he also showed his universal form to Arjuna in this particular, and Arjuna was offering the prayers in this particular section. In the final section, that is the armed form, when Arjuna requested Krishna for to actually close this universal form and show him the Vishnu form and two-handed form. Krishna actually showed the Vishnu form, that is a four-handed form, and then the two-handed beautiful form which is eternally there in the spiritual world, that is Goloka Vrindavan. He showed about that form also. But the last verse which was talking is that your bhakti is the prerequisite to show any form of, to actually see any form of Krishna. And Krishna is so merciful that if we just show love and affection towards him, love and devotion towards him, he takes 10 steps towards us. If we actually just take one step towards him, he actually takes 10 steps towards us. That is what we understood here. Okay. So that is the end of this chapter. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Grandraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, everyone. Let me stop sharing. Yes, Nana.